Matthew chapter 26, verse 57 to 75. And they that had laid hold on Jesus led him away to Caiaphas the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. But Peter followed him afar off unto the high priest's palace, and went in, and sat with the servants, to see the end. Now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Jesus, to put him to death. But found none, yea, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At the last came 2 false witnesses, and said, This fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God, and to build it in 3 days. And the high priest arose and said unto him, Answerest thou nothing? What is it which these witness against thee? But Jesus held his peace. And the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living God, that thou tell us whether thou be the Christ, the Son of God. Jesus saith unto him, Thou hast said, Nevertheless I say unto you, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power, and coming in the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest rent his clothes, saying, He hath spoken blasphemy. What further need have we of witnesses? Behold, now ye have heard his blasphemy. What think ye? They answered and said, He is guilty of death. Then did they spit in his face and buffeted him, and others smote him with the palms of their hands, saying, Prophesy unto us, thou Christ, who is he that smote thee? Now Peter sat without in the palace, and a damsel came unto him, saying, Thou also wast with Jesus of Galilee. But he denied before them all, saying, I know not what thou sayest. And when he was gone out into the porch, another maid saw him, and said unto them that were there, This fellow was also with Jesus of Nazareth. And again he denied with an oath, I do not know the man. And after a while came unto him they that stood by, and said to Peter, Surely thou also art one of them, for thy speech bewrayeth thee. Then began he to curse and to swear, saying, I know not the man. And immediately the cock crew. And Peter remembered the word of Jesus, which said unto him, Before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice. And he went out, and wept bitterly. After Jesus is arrested in Gethsemane, he is brought before Caiaphas the high priest, where the scribes, elders, and members of the council have assembled. Their purpose is not to conduct an honest investigation. They have already determined that Jesus must die and are now searching for testimony that will justify their decision. The religious leaders seek false witnesses against Christ, but even those who come forward cannot produce consistent testimony. Their difficulty reveals the perfect innocence of Jesus. Although his enemies are determined to condemn him, they cannot identify any genuine crime he has committed. Eventually, 2 witnesses misrepresent his words concerning the temple. Jesus had spoken of the temple of his body and his resurrection, but they twist his statement to make it appear that he threatened to destroy the physical temple in Jerusalem. Their accusation takes his words out of context and changes their meaning. When the high priest demands an answer, Jesus remains silent. His silence fulfills the prophetic picture of the suffering servant who would not defend himself before his accusers. Christ is not silent because he is powerless or guilty. He knows that the trial is corrupt and that his death is part of the purpose for which he came. The high priest then directly asks whether Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God. Jesus answers clearly and points them toward his future glory. Though he now stands before them as a prisoner, the day will come when they will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven. This declaration identifies Jesus as the promised Messiah and the divine Son of God. The high priest understands the claim but refuses to believe it. Instead, he tears his clothes and accuses Jesus of blasphemy. The council then declares him worthy of death. Their response reveals the depth of their rejection. The one they mock as a false Christ is truly their Messiah. They spit in his face, strike him, and ridicule his prophetic authority. Yet Jesus endures their cruelty without retaliation. The righteous Son of God willingly suffers at the hands of sinful men. While Jesus stands faithfully before his accusers, Peter waits outside in the courtyard. He had followed from a distance, wanting to know what would happen but afraid to be openly identified with Christ. When a young woman recognizes him, Peter denies knowing Jesus. His fear increases with each accusation. The first denial becomes a second denial with an oath, and eventually a third denial involving cursing and swearing. Peter, who had boldly declared that he would die before denying Christ, now insists that he does not even know him. Immediately after the third denial, the cock crows. Peter remembers the exact warning Jesus had given him earlier that night. The realization of his failure overwhelms him, and he leaves the courtyard weeping bitterly. The contrast between Jesus and Peter is powerful. Jesus remains faithful while surrounded by false witnesses, threats, and violence. Peter falls when confronted by servants and bystanders. Yet Peter's tears reveal genuine sorrow and repentance. His failure is terrible, but it will not be the end of his story. This passage exposes the weakness of human confidence and the perfect faithfulness of Jesus Christ. Peter trusted in his own determination and failed, while Christ remained obedient under suffering. The Lord stands alone, falsely accused and rejected, continuing toward the cross where he will complete the work of redemption. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more KJV Bible teaching. Until next time, search the Scriptures. Grace be with you.